Streaming studio. We're on top of breaking news that we've been following all morning long. The deadly passenger plane crash in India. We're going to take some images for you here so you can get a better idea of what the scene looks like there. We are hearing from authorities in this northwestern city of India that there appear to be no survivors after this plane carrying about 242 people crashed shortly after takeoff. So just 5 minutes after taking off, a mayday call from pilots went out, and then there was no more signal from that plane after it crashed. It appears that there are no survivors from the plane. This was an Air India flight, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. That's according to the police commissioner for Ahmedabad, which is the city where this crash happened. This is a heavily populated area and a residential area. And I want to show you some striking images of this crash because this will help visualize what exactly has happened here. So this is the tail of that flight, and you can see that it is lodged directly into a building. Authorities are saying that this is a medical hostel and that the plane crashed right into a dining area there. And they believe that some of the people from inside of that building and on the ground have died as well. So people separate from who were on board of that plane. It's unclear whether medical professionals were involved in this crash, if they were inside of the building, but essentially this is a medical hostel that houses medical workers and doctors. And authorities are saying that it is likely that people who were not on the plane were killed in this crash. These images are being shared on Reuters, and they give a pretty good idea of where the tail of the plane is lodged. This is a side view of that building, and you can see another angle of the tail of the plane sticking out there. The crash site is pretty horrific. We've been seeing images and video all morning long, and in many of these images, like this one, it's tough to even make out what you're looking at. The fire was so intense, and in many of the videos that we've seen, firefighters were basically on scene doing what they could to douse the flames of the wreckage. It's assumed that this flight, which was headed to London's Gatwick Airport, would have been fully loaded with fuel when it crashed just after takeoff. So you can imagine the intense fire that it created when it crashed. More images showing the part of the plane lodged in the crash as well, and so many first responders on the scene trying to take bodies from the crash site to the hospital. At least 200 bodies have been recovered so far after this plane crash. So again, an Air India flight that was heading from Ahmedabad, from the airport there, to London's Gatwick Airport crashed this morning our time, so midday local time, with about 242 people on board. And authorities are saying it is believed that all the people on board that plane have died. We're learning a little bit more about who those passengers were and what country they came from. So majority of them were from India, about 169 Indian passengers, 53 from Great Britain, so 53 Britons on board. We also had passengers from Portugal as well, 7 Portuguese passengers and 1 Canadian passenger. And so now we have started hearing from all of the countries that had passengers on board. And we're hearing also from Air India, which says it is now set up a specific site so that folks who think that their family members may have been on board can get more information about this. So essentially it's an Air India emergency center, and that's where families can call or go to get more information about this. We're also hearing from Boeing as well. Of course, this is one of their planes involved, a Boeing Dreamliner. This is the first crash and first deadly crash involving a Boeing 787 in history. That's according to the Aviation Safety Network database. The last major passenger plane crash in India, that was back in 2020 when an Air India Express Boeing 737 skidded off of the runway, off of a hilltop runway in southern India. 21 people were killed in that crash. The worst air disaster in India was in 1996 when a Saudi Arabian Airlines flight collided mid-air with a Kazakhstan Airlines flight. That killed all 349 people on board both of those planes. But again, authorities saying they do not believe anyone survived the crash from today, carrying 242 people on board. They are saying that there are multiple victims, multiple people who have died on the ground as well, because the plane hit in a populated area when it went down, and we've seen some images of the tail of that plane lodged into the side of the building that it struck. And most accounts are saying at this hour that that building was a medical hospital where doctors and medical students and workers would be present or lived, and that the particular area that was hit was the dining area of this facility. So I'll try and toggle back and show you a better image that gives you perspective of where the plane hit. So this is the tail of that aircraft sticking out of the building. This is another view of it there. These images are posted on the Reuters website, so that's where we're seeing these. And then a view from underneath as well. And it appears that this was some sort of dining area in that building where this was hit.